I'm 16 years old right now, not a few minutes ago, and not in a few minutes' time. It's 10 past 11 on September the 1st, and I'm exactly 16 years old. Unless you look at my ID. If you look at my ID, I am 19 and I have been for 3 months. If you look at my ID, I have the wrong color hair and a face that looks not quite but almost entirely different to the one I actually own. If you look at my ID, I'm not called Sally Mackenzie. I am called Elizabeth Ship. I live in a Glasgow and apparently I'm Canadian. But if you look at my ID and don't notice any of that, then you, like the bouncers, wouldn't know that I'm not actually allowed to be here. We're at the student union. There's a band on stage, my favorite band. And no, I'm not going to tell you who they are. I was 16 and it's really embarrassing. They're playing my favorite song and my best friend Grace has just grabbed my hand and said,
"I've met the guy who says he can get us backstage."
We pushed through the crowd and yes, there is a guy. A guy who looks like someone whose offer to take a girl backstage has backfired massively when she's brought a friend with her.
Hey, I didn't mean I could get two of you in. I'm sorry, I gotta go, sorry.
But it doesn't matter, cause now we're at the side of the stage. We're drinking beer out of the bottle, and we are this far away from the band. They're like right there, and I'm singing along and dancing when the singer, he turns and sees me, and then he smiles. He turns and sees me and smiles, and my heart leaps. And then he gestures for us to come over, and we're like, "Oh my God!" And Grace is like,
"Can we even do that?"
And I'm like, "Why not?" And she's like,
"Really?"
And I'm like, "Yeah." And then we're on stage and we're dancing, and in front of us there are hundreds of faces. Some of them have seen us, some of them haven't. Grace is next to me, kind of uncertain but kind of enjoying it. And then there's me, and I am going for it. I am properly going for it. I'm like Flashdance, Footloose, and Billy Elliot all rolled into one. And then the singer, he comes over, and he starts dancing with me. And then the song ends, and the security guards are glaring at us from the side of the stage. So we jump down into the crowd and push through all the people, and then I'm in front of Darren Thomas. This guy in the year above, who I've liked since like ever. And he's like,
Dude, that was so cool!
and I'm like, "Do you really think so?" Yeah, I guess it was, wasn't it? And then he smiles, and I smile, and it's like that moment when you know you're going to kiss someone, but you don't know who's gonna make the first move, and then he leans in, and I lean in, and then
"Get a room."
Grace interrupts. And then she laughs. She knows what this is. She knows what this moment means to me. This is the moment I've been waiting for like all my life. And then Grace holds up her camera and she's like,
"Smile."
and we all look into it. And because that moment is so perfect, because everything's going so well, because I know that normally I would be feeling good in this situation, I know something's not quite right here. Because even though I'm smiling in the picture, inside, everything is going wrong. Everything is still for a moment. So yeah, I did say things might get a bit heavy. But don't worry, I will tell you what is depression. The problem with depression is it's very hard to explain. Why suddenly all these horrible things are going in your brain. Your job is pretty decent.
Your health and love life too. So why is this happening to you? Is it an allergy to dairy that has robbed you for your zeal? Did you face a flood of witches? Are dementors really real? No. There's an explanation. It's simple and it's true. Sit back, and I'll explain it to you. There's no reason. There's no reason. There's no reason at all.
It's a chemical imbalance, an accident of fate. There's nothing that you did that made this shit land on your plate. And yes, it's quite frustrating that there's nothing you can blame. But at least, there's no need to feel ashamed. Cause
There's no reason.
what about diet?
Not a reason.
Physical fitness?
They're contributing factors. They're not reasons.
Too much coffee,
Not a reason.
Not enough sunlight?
Not a reason.
bad karma.
No. There's no reason at all. And yes, there are theories that may provide answers regarding the size of your brain's hippocampus, but I don't have the time to just stand up here lecturing, sorting the true facts from all the conjecturing. I promise you that I'm not being misleading. You have to believe me. I've done all the reading. And yes, certain details may still be contentious, but on this point you'll find overwhelming consensus that
There's no reason.
There's no reason.
there's no reason. But that's quite hard to accept.